The final spellcaster is code 143 with the oration, "Leave me alone."
Last summer, I had one goal. I was gonna find myself, the purpose of life, the deepest, darkest secrets of my soul. I wanted to be the epitome of an angsty teen. And that's what I set out to do at summer camp. All the children of Nebraska emerged from the cornfields to take part in typical summer camp activities. Bonfires, ghost stories, and the best of all, corny icebreakers. I was mortified when my naturally extroverted and overly caffeinated leader gathered all the kids in my group and lined us up in front of the entire camp. He asked us to spell out the letters of our name with our butts. So I got up in front of everyone, turned around, and this is when I realized that the next few weeks of camp were going to be a lot more get to know everyone by socializing and less venture into the woods alone to discover myself activities. Turns out, summer camp valued group interaction, but never self-reflection. And this imbalance exists not only for angsty teens at camp, but is present in our day-to-day lives. We're so focused on making connections with everyone else that we forget to make the most important connection, the one with ourselves. Huffington Post, on December 7th of 2017, describes 11 different studies examining people left alone for extended periods of time and found that we would rather be electrically shocked than alone with our own thoughts. We must begin to value solitude so that we can relearn how to be alone. So let's first fuel our campfire with why we stigmatize solitude. Feel the heat of the effects of our collaboration obsession before finally roasting some golden brown solutions on how we can incorporate introspection into our daily lives. Even on our way to the bathroom, we don't want to be alone, so we either bring a friend or our cell phones until you drop your phone in the toilet. Then you really have no friends. This fear of solitude arises for two reasons. Initially, we stigmatize solitude, which is why we're never taught how to value it. According to Forbes magazine, on December 29th of 2017, we're culturally biased against introversion and introspection. From kindergarten timeouts, dubbing time alone as a punishment, to my Aunt Priya asking me for the third time this week if I had a boyfriend yet, it's clear solitude has a negative connotation. But honestly, I think having a boyfriend would be more of a punishment than the timeout chair at this point. William Deserjevitz, author and literary critic, explains our dilemma clearly. We don't value introspection, but it's because we've grown up without it. Which is why, according to Diana Senechal, author of The Republic of Noise, a loss of solitude in our schools and culture, most of our schools allocate no time for students to have solitude throughout the day. And the more we avoid solitude, the more terrifying it becomes. Second, hyperconnectedness. By replacing our offline connections with online ones, we weaken our ability to be comfortable with solitude. The New York Times, on December 11th of 2017, explains that rather than using our alone time as an opportunity for introspection, we're so focused on when our next interaction is going to happen. And when our desired and actual levels of socializing don't add up, we don't know how to cope. Solitude is being quickly pushed out of our lives. Our minds are constantly bombarded by an influx of texts, emails, ads, and notifications. According to psychologist Adam Atler, most of us spend nearly all of our free time, our precious 3 to 4 hours per day, in the presence of a screen, which means we spend virtually no time alone. Famous researcher Tyrion from the Game of Thrones puts it best. Sometimes nothing is the hardest thing to do. But he obviously has never butt-spelled a day in his life. I'm still affected. Speaking of effects, undervaluing solitude has two. First, by never learning how to incorporate solitude into our lives, we miss out on untapped creative potential that stems from understanding ourselves. Introspection is a skill, just like archery, and like shooting arrows at my bunkmate during camp, it takes practice to use solitude effectively. Forbes, on January 31st of 2017, describes a study from BMC Neuroscience that found our anterior cingulate cortex is activated during self-reflective tasks. This helps us think clearly, generate new ideas, and develop emotional intelligence. However, since we're out of practice, we're losing out on the tremendous benefits of this type of thinking. Susan Cain, author of Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking, states, too much interaction can actually prevent us from knowing the benefits of introspection. Collaboration isn't bad. We just don't know how to use solitude when we need to. Second, our stigmatization of solitude is causing an introspection epidemic. NPR, on May 1st of 2018, cited a nationwide survey that found 56% of Americans report they're uncomfortable with alone time, stemming from FOMO, or the fear of missing out. This need for constant interaction has detrimental health effects. Psychology Today, on January 22nd of 2019, describes a study that found our fear of solitude increases chances of high blood pressure, stress, dementia, obesity, sleep deprivation, and even premature death. The article continues. Fearing alone time can have the same impact on our physical health as smoking cigarettes. Solitude isn't something we should shy from, but rather we need to embrace it. Trust me, I learned that the hard way. Growing up, my family celebrated Diwali instead of Christmas and spoke Tamil instead of English. As you can imagine, my first day at an all-white Catholic private school in the middle of the cornfields was pretty difficult. The kids at school couldn't relate to my life at home, and my parents didn't understand my life at school. I had never felt more alone. And it wasn't until I took time to self-reflect that I learned how to become comfortable and even happy with my differences. Even if my Aunt Priya thinks the only way I'll be happy is by not being single. But I'm not here to be single and ready to mingle, because most of the time I'm single and eating a Pringle. We might be a nation trapped in an extroversion explosion, but we don't have to be. There are two solutions. First, The Atlantic, on March 30th of 2017, revealed that in order to foster a balance between socialization and solitude, we must make time for meditation and introspection in our daily lives. A 2017 study from Georgetown University Medical Center found that just 8 weeks of meditation training can be effective in treating stress, depression, anxiety, and pain. So it's time to meditate. I've compiled mindfulness meditation techniques from experts, including breathing techniques to focus drills, that everyone in this room can take home or to school and share with classmates, friends, and family. Find me afterwards for a card with all the information you need to get started. Second, we must all learn how to be alone with our thoughts, even if we're around other people. Matthew Boker, psychoanalytic political theorist who has researched solitude, explains that the most important relationship anybody ever has is the relationship you have with yourself. Your decision-making skills, goals, and visions for life sharpen tremendously just by spending 10 seconds of your day to be by yourself. So let's practice taking those 10 seconds of solitude right now. Let's all close our eyes. and take this time to think about your own thoughts. And open your eyes. Something as simple as what we did here together can actually make a huge difference. And if this made you feel awkward or uncomfortable, just think of it as the first big step towards valuing and accepting solitude. And after waving my butt at complete strangers, I needed more introspective time at camp. Today, we learned to value solitude by discussing causes, effects, and solutions. Just as the perfect s'more balances chocolate and marshmallows, in life, we must strive for the perfect balance between socialization and solitude.